Welcome back to Reps and Reflections, the podcast where we create stronger minds, stronger connections, and even stronger bodies. Today we got a treat for you today. We have a guest, Marcus Jackson. He is a personal certified personal trainer and an aspiring life coach. Those things will be coming soon. We're not going to take too much time with this intro. We want to get right into the content, right into the conversation. So without further ado, cue the intro.
Reps and reflection, reps and reflection, reps and reflection, reps and reflection.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for tuning in. Mr. Mark Jackson, thank you so much for being a part of this experience, part of this podcast. How you doing today?
I'm feeling blessed, man. Striving another
Yeah,
day,
man. One thing that you always say, man, is brick by brick.
brick by brick. If we can just focus on the day,
Yeah.
tomorrow will come.
Amen. 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 So we're just going to kick this thing off with, you just kind of telling us a little bit about yourself. So who was young Marcus? How did Marcus grow up?
Young Marcus was an adventurer, very
Mm.
curious,
Mm-hmm.
but he also lived in a box. Military father, military pops.
Oh.
So acting and singing, instruments, sports, church, all became outlets of expression and ways to discover who I was, or who I was trying to be.
Yeah.
I'm a junior, as you know.
Yes,
A
yes,
lot
sir.
of expectations come with the name,
Yeah.
and me and my dad differed in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So young Marcus was a soul searcher, very
Yeah.
young, very young. My mom left at 10 years old. I started writing poetry. I just had a lot of big life events kind of, uh, mold me or shift my perspectives and get me a little bit more curious about life at young ages,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then kind of taking us through to your educational background, because I know you
we spent some
yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I went to University of Northern Iowa.
Okay.
I originally was supposed to be a vocal music education major, so I was going to be waving my hands for some high schoolers, a high school
Yeah.
choir. COVID came through and did a number on those dreams.
Mm-hmm.
It shut down everything that we were doing in terms of student teaching. So I ended up having to degrade my degree or digress my degree
Mm-hmm.
down to a general music studies.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too upset about that because around the same time I had this like soul revelation that I wanted to go my own way and do my own music. And
Right.
I was upset at the school system because all we ever performed was westernized music, and it was a lack of culture and autonomy for the students, I felt, in the curriculum. So
Right.
I didn't have a deep passion by the time I finished my degree to still go teach.
Right.
But throughout college, I did music tours as a part of a guild of sorts,
Mm-hmm.
a coalition that was
Uh,
unifying different countries through song and dance. 15 to 20 different countries,
yeah.
4 or 5 different festivals, and that blew my brain away. Of
Right.
course, getting to see the religious bases and how people are just so different. We experience a little bit of change of environment when we go to state from state, but
Yeah.
a lot of international travel just really made me realize just how small I am, but also
Yeah.
how unique I am.
That's one of the things that I'm a lot envious about. Can you kind of talk a little bit about some of the international travel? Just one example of like what was your favorite country to go to? Because
Wow.
I've heard almost all the stories, but I just want you to share one of them.
We'll just have to go with Thailand.
Okay.
Reason being because every place has its thing.
Right.
Iceland was amazing as well,
Yeah.
right? But the people in Thailand,
Yeah.
the religious basis being more Buddhism and more
Mhm.
Islam, but
Yeah.
in its origins,
Right.
people off the streets who you've never met or seen before treating you better than probably some of your family. It was crazy. And the love, I've never I've done a lot of concerts in America. I've opened up for Life Jennings. Me and my sister opened up for Jay Holiday. We've had some good shows.
Right.
I opened up for 303 at my college. But these shows, I mean,
Yeah.
the love that exuded from these people, you could tell that they were happy to be alive.
Right.
And over here, you can tell most people are questioning why they're alive.
Well, and just taking it for granted.
Yes. But they don't, over there it was just such a like
Yeah.
everything was in doubt. Of
Yeah.
course there's places, I'm sure there's places that we didn't see.
You're
But
right.
whether it was a village or whether it was Surin, Thailand, which is the equivalent of like a New York, these are two different spectrums of populations and socioeconomic status.
Yeah.
People are walking their cows as we're driving double-decker tour buses, and they're smiling and waving.
Right.
I mean, it really shifts your perspective about what's important in life.
Amen. Amen. So just like now what I would like to just kind of pivot a little bit, just move a little bit. We talked about young Marcus. We talked about collegiate Marcus. We talked about the traveler Marcus. But when we talk about personal training, right? Can you take us deeper into your personal journey getting into this field? Why is this so important to you?
I mean, it's funny to say because I remember you said this one time. I was probably born playing sports, but like I
Right.
mean, I remember at ages as young as 3 or 4 years old catching. I got a knot, I got a scar on my head right here.
Uh-huh.
It was 15 stitches. Me and my dad was playing football. I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And I tried to catch the football and I dove into the corner of a dresser.
That's dedication.
Yeah. At 4 or 5 years old, I was already doing 50 or 60 push-ups. Me and my dad would wake up every morning and do push-ups together. Our relationship was immaculate growing up. I left with my mom though for a few years, and in those few years, the way that I connected with my father, and it's not that I'm old or this was old school, but I feel like I was raised a generation behind just because of the modalities that my family used to communicate and how much technology we grew up without.
That part.
So we didn't call my pops much. We wrote letters to him. And I would learn how to draw muscles through his letters. He would send me a letter and teach me how to draw, and it would enthuse my curiosity for fitness. And so I wasn't wrestling or doing martial arts at those couple of years when I was with my mom, but me and my dad had started training when I was like 5 years old with wrestling and martial arts and such, and I just grew up in this love for the human body, the human biology, and just how it moves, the reasons, the same whys that, I look at life and why are we here? Why I look at the body and, why can we do these things?
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. So growing up, my pops, I returned to live with my pops when I was around 10. And I mean, we'd be flexing in the mirrors and, it's just a father-son thing for so long. And I was known as an athlete just as much as my father was by the time I was in high school. My dad had quite the ego, so he didn't like taking losses, taking L's. So anything I ever sought out to do, especially in athletics, we wasn't doing it to do it. We was doing it to be the best.
Right.
If we're not doing it to be the best, we ain't doing it.
We ain't doing it.
So, I mean, I went hard,
Right.
He didn't want me lifting weights. I was pure calisthenics, body weight, everything until I was almost a grown man.
Yeah.
But the 1 or 2 times I did lift with my dad, I was like, yeah, I'm not ready. I was sore for 2 weeks after a chest workout. I said, how is this possible, Dad? You feel this? Like, no,
Man, that's some quadruple onset muscle soreness right there, man.
Look,
said 2 weeks, my body don't work.
I don't know, like, and then look. I had that military veteran pops, that no, we're gonna fight through this. We're gonna get through it,
Yeah.
So no matter what I was feeling during the workout, it wasn't an excuse,
Yeah.
My chest gonna fall off, Dad. I don't care. You got 3 reps. Like, oh man, I felt like I was being tortured. I never did it again.
Yeah.
So I didn't start working out with my dad again until I was about 19.
Right.
So I think 14 was when I had that session, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Right. Right.
But then at about 19, coming home from college, I would always live with my pops in the summers.
Yeah.
And man, that's when we really start to get close, you know.
Bonding.
So
Yeah. And so that was kind of where your passion started, right? And the question that I have for you is, what gap in the market or unmet need did you see when you began, if any?
it's not even a gap. It's a deficiency on Earth. You know, there's a lack of recognition to the importance of your physical health. You
Mm-hmm.
know, whether it's making a lot of wrong choices with food,
Mm-hmm.
making a lot of wrong choices with lack of exercise, or with any of the many other things you could put in your body
Right.
that could harm your body. Um, Not that this is all we are, depending on what you believe,
Of
but
course.
this is a very large part.
That's the vessel.
This is a
That's
very large
the
part of who we are. You know,
right.
your quality of life is dependent upon how well you can go about living. You
Right.
know, and at a very young age, I saw my grandma, not being able to move around, and you know, love my pops, rest in power. But pops
Yeah.
used to let grandma know,
Yeah.
grandma, let her know that she's getting big, or she's,
Mm-hmm.
why you drinking 15 Mountain Dews a day and you're not even walking, and you
Right.
expect to lose weight? You want the diabetes to get less worse,
Right. Yeah.
seeing people not help themselves,
Yeah.
but be begging for help, but unwilling to help themselves.
Right.
And then my father, who was like, you know, over the top with it, always, always, always on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think the things that I didn't see are probably the reasons why he passed away a little bit early.
Mm.
And him passing away when I was 21 was also another awakening, so to
Yeah.
speak, of me
Yeah.
to take hold of my life and do what I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Being a junior,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my identity to that point was it was a societal fiction.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I wanted for me. It
Right.
was who the world thought that I should
Right.
be based off of how I was raised.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Wow.
didn't really start making those choices about who I really wanted to be and what I really wanted to do until senior passed away.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
fitness for sure, and music, being able to express myself was always huge growing up. And I went to college for music, right? So post college transition, post pops passing away, having to start my hub somewhere new, not having
Mm-hmm.
a family domicile to return to. I mean, this has been my entrepreneurial journey, my spiritual journey. Exercise is not just working out for me, but it's also a pathway of mastery. Self mastery is why we on earth. We know that if we can truly control ourselves 24 hours a day, every second, every hour, every minute, that there's nothing on this earth that we can desire that we would not attain,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I'm seeking, man. Through my
Yeah.
fitness, through my music, I'm looking for balance within myself to truly express and live life in the
Mm-hmm.
way that we've always wanted,
Yeah. It's all art.
It's all art.
It's all art.
Yes.
Life is art.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we talk. I mean, we obviously, we. I think the first thing that you and I genuinely connected on was music.
Hmm.
You know, and this is something I do with my guests. You want to explain real quick how we met?
So, we close to TSA in the airport, and I've always leaned into my intuition
Hmm.
when there's something that pulls you, when you feel called to do something. I was raised not to fight that, and be allow myself to have that shameless moment, no matter what it may be.
Hmm.
Most of the time, that's you being charismatic or being social, in whatever environment, and allowing yourself to express without too much thought, as the late Muddy Waters would say, "If you're thinking, you're stinking." So
Wow.
anyway,
Yeah.
we were in the airport, and I saw Bobby and his wife. And man, this man is just cheesing, just emanating light, just radiating love and happiness. That, and I had just done some random studies about like nine ether beings, which is like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, black people's hair, and melanin in our hair, and stuff like that. And so I was just appreciative of the qualities of human beings. I've always had this thing, right? But I just got off the phone with my sister before that, telling her that I loved her locks, you know.
Yeah.
And then I see Bobby and this stuff down his back, you know, and I felt like it was like Samson or something, like you know, like looking at someone and being able to see their divinity
Yeah.
through an aspect of them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a stranger he may have been, but I could tell that he had nurtured himself. He had worked on himself. He had been consistent with himself. To even have Ether, his hair be that way, you know.
Yeah.
So I walked up to him. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I got it. Look, I know I don't know you, man, but I love your hair, man. I love your Ether, bro. And who, you know how it goes. We took off from there.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It was wild, man, because that was 3 years ago.
Almost
Almost
4.
almost
Yeah.
4 years ago. Almost 4 years ago, and we've been rocking ever since, man. Yeah, I often think about that time, that 4 years and everything that you've been through, everything that I've been through. And first of all, it's a blessing to know you. You know what I mean? I love you like a brother. You know what I mean? Like we call each other brother. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And it's my kids call you Uncle Marcus. You know what I mean? And so when we're talking about what we've gone through in this 4 years, and we're talking about your journey, let's talk about the measure of success for a second, right? And so, how do you measure success both personally and financially?
How I'd measure it, personally, I would say being successful is to be doing or being something in life because you want to be it. I would say a mother who desires to be a mother and is a good mother is successful, personally.
Yeah.
To have a desire and want to do or be something in life and to do it or be it is success. Now, financially,
Hmm.
um, is predicated on that first question as well, because you know the type of quality that
Right.
of life that you'll be able to live, depending on that medium, that passion is going to be different. So for me, financially, it just means to be able to express myself and live life, right? Do
Right.
life the way that I want.
Yeah.
Not in a cliche, go on vacations every month, kind of do what I want, but to have all necessities of life and to still be able to do just a little bit more.
Amen.
That's successful to me.
Yeah. What he said. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? And obviously, one of the things that I talk about often is the reason that this question is so important to me, because when I am in my sessions, whether it's training or life coaching, you always want to find people's why,
Hmm.
which leads to motivation, um, but also understanding what people's definition of success is. Right? It's always it's always different, but it's also similar.
Yeah.
Right? We're not as different globally as society would lead us to believe.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? We all want security. We all want safety. We Most of us want love. Most of us want peace,
Hmm.
right? And for me, the financial piece, to me, that means security, right? My wife and I, we love to travel, right? And so when we think about, okay, how can we travel while still creating our legacy? You know what I mean? And so a lot of things go into that, right? But find what your definition of success is, and make sure that it's that and make sure that you make goals and you take steps in order to reach those goals, right? And they've got to be smart goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And that's something that we talk about very often, right? Because a goal without direction is just a thought, and a thought without action doesn't happen, right? And so, where do you believe that fitness and wellness fits into the world right now?
Fitness and wellness, it's life.
Yeah,
You know, um, there isn't a con.
right, right. You can't fake
You know,
it.
if we put pros and cons of health and wellness,
Yeah, yeah,
tell
absolutely.
me a con of being healthy and having the ability to do things in life. You
Yeah,
know, I've worked in a luxury retirement facility,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen the spectrum of humans,
Yeah.
and you can see evidence of how they've lived their lives in their later
Right.
years. You know,
Yeah.
if they've been active, if they've been intentional, then
Mm-hmm.
they're 75 years old and they can still jog. They're
Yeah.
still doing burpees,
Right.
right? And if they have not been, then they're 57 and sedentary, shuffling across a floor with a walker and need help getting out of a chair.
Right.
You know, you tell me the importance of health and
Right.
wellness worldwide,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
increasing the quality of life for any human being who takes it even just a little bit serious.
Yeah. And what inspired you to start? Like, your business. I know what. I mean, we spoke a little bit about what inspired you to um to feel the importance of fitness and wellness, but what really inspired you to say, you know what, this isn't just about me, right? And yes, there's a deficiency, in the world, in the country, or whatever that spectrum looks like. But at what point did you say, you know what, I'm gonna get certified, and not only am I going to care about my own fitness and well-being, but I want to spread this to other people?
I felt like it was as they said, coming to Jesus moment,
Yeah.
right? But me and the mother of my son just turned 1. But me and the mother of my son, we were living out in College Station, and I
Yeah.
was uh, the sales manager at a sales shop,
Yeah.
and then I was the head of security at a bar, and I wasn't satisfied with life. Not because I wasn't making decent money or that I wasn't happy with my lady, um, but just what I was doing wasn't filling me up. It wasn't filling
Right.
me up at all. And
Yeah.
of course, no matter what we do, we'll talk to people, we'll give advice, we'll find somewhere to
Oh
to
yeah.
to converse. But
Yeah.
it wasn't having an impact. It wasn't hitting the mark the way that I wanted it to. Me and my lady had the idea to move to Austin,
Hmm.
and I had heard at the time that Austin was music capital over Nashville, even.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was like, man, this must be a sign for me to
Yeah.
re-tap in. It had been a little bit over a year since I had moved down to Texas, and I just made the decision.
Yeah.
I want to do music and fitness again.
All right, man.
I know that those are two, that's me, right? But it's two identities that I've had in life. And I so happened to find a job with Camp Gladiator, being a contractor with them.
Hmm.
And I think the sales point
Yeah.
was the fact that they handed me 70 clients to start
Hmm.
out.
Yeah.
And so I was already making a little bit of money to,
Hmm.
I was making twice as much money,
Right.
working
Yeah.
half as many hours.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so that was a great start.
Yeah.
But it was right at the end of that cusp of COVID,
Hmm.
and their business model shifted
A
a
little
lot.
rocky.
And so
Yeah.
my fitness journey with them has been very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
And so it's pushed me to this point,
Hmm.
to want to do things for myself and build something that is sustainable
Hmm.
and truly build community. Now that I've worked with enough people to understand that I do truly have value.
Yeah. Yes, you do. More than you know. A lot of times. But we're not going to talk about that on this podcast. Happy birthday, Luca. We talk about music, and obviously, this isn't something that I'm able to do with all of my guests on the show. But um, how would you like to look into the camera and sing "Happy Birthday" to Luca? You know,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Luca. Happy birthday to you. Happy first birthday, boy.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. No matter how big this podcast gets, it's not why I do it. You know what I mean? It's to just reach one person. And I don't care if that one person is Luca. 5 years from now, being able to look back at this episode and see his father trying his best and taking time out to to wish him happy birthday. You know what I mean? I love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
And congratulations on not only your daughter, but you're you're a 1 year old infant son.
Man,
You know what I mean?
yes.
It's a wild ride. Um, what services do you offer? I want you to kind of communicate to the audience what services do you offer, and how did you decide on those services?
Um, well, first off is my bodybuilding journey.
Yeah.
Um, growing up with pops,
Mm-hmm.
flexing our muscles all
Yes,
the
sir.
time.
Uh-huh.
My pops was a bodybuilder and a natural all-around athlete.
Yeah.
Before he passed away, we had, joked it with each other that he
Yeah.
would have his last bodybuilding show and I would have my first, and that
Yeah.
he was gonna kick my butt.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. So he passed away before we
Yeah.
was able to make that a
Yeah.
reality. So my first bodybuilding show was really about fulfilling that promise with myself,
Mm-hmm.
for my dad.
Yeah.
Moving forward, it's about building a little bit more renown
Mm-hmm.
um, for my fitness business through my accolades, which showcase that
Right.
right what we know
Mm-hmm.
works. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I of course the everything works in cohesion with each other in terms
Mm-hmm.
of fitness, right? The
Right.
diet affects how you'll look aesthetically with
Mm-hmm.
with what you do in the gym.
Correct.
So I offer personalized dietary plans, structured specifically around your lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, as you guys know, there's so much conversation out there about diet in general, but your daily patterns are the
Mm-hmm.
biggest affector of ups or
Mm-hmm.
downs, right?
Yeah.
And not just what you eat, but when you eat
Yeah.
what you eat,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other things that if someone who knows what they're doing would take the time to tailor it for you, you'd be able to change the shape of your body at will.
Right.
We've always been able to. It's just a matter of having the discipline to do
Right.
what you should do.
That part.
I also offer
Mm-hmm.
personalized workout plans, um, like a bodybuilder, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but depending on what it is that they're doing in life, if the goal is longevity, if the goal is mobility, if the goal is more explosion because they play football,
Right.
if the goal is I just want to look good for my wife, I want my
Yeah.
chest to bust out my shirt, and I
Yeah.
want my back to be bigger.
Right.
I build a plan based on the aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
desires of my clients, and then there's accountability as well.
Right.
Um, all my plans come with some form of keeping in tune with you to make sure you're trying to get to your goals. But
Mm-hmm.
accountability is just a little bit more in your face, a lot more motivational text messages, a lot more checking in,
Right.
a little bit more thorough with the check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
But these different services are all, I guess you could say, virtual.
Yeah.
I also do one-on-one training as well in
Mm-hmm.
person.
Yes, sir.
So
Amen. Amen. And so, how, well, let me ask you this. What are your short term goals or vision moving forward? Like, what's your goal? What's your
my
vision?
short-term goal
Yeah.
is to be able to find some type of foundation or sustainability through the combination of my passions.
Yeah.
So one thing I have not been able to do yet, is build something that, and that's why I'm so focused on community now, and a lot less on corporate America, a lot less
Mm-hmm.
on trying to build someone else's dream, right?
Right.
Because in the same cliche way we say that we are worthy of being loved, you are also
Mm-hmm.
worthy of being known,
Yeah.
and and
Wow.
those
Wow.
who have knowledge worth giving, right? The only difference between us is our organizations of mind, right?
Yeah.
We learned a lot of the same stuff, but our perceptions of that information depends on the types of backgrounds we come
Yeah.
from,
Perspective.
right? And what's held versus what isn't in terms of pain and love, etc.
Yeah.
For me, like I said, I definitely feel that I have value to give in my perspective, in the way that I see things. There's a lot of value to get from plenty of other people, but I now know that I can create a community, and doing that is my short-term goal because that will allow me to build something that's sustainable
Mm-hmm.
that we can then stand on to
Right.
build monuments. Lift as we climb, bring those up the ladder with us. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And before we get into the contact information and communicating to the audience how they can reach you, I, is there anything else that you believe or that you want to share with the audience?
Just that every choice is important. Life is just time.
Yeah.
And how you spend it
Yeah.
will compound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even now, even this moment,
Yeah.
even us expressing ourselves on, this is time. This
Yeah.
is life spent.
Right.
No time or life spent can never be gotten back.
Amen.
So
Yeah.
take as much control of yourself and of your life as you can. That would be the only thing I'd say.
I love that. There's one like, one thing that I always say is, about time is that like it's the most precious commodity that we have that we can't get back, right? You lose $5, you can make that back up, right? Tenfold,
Hmm.
right? You lose a relationship, you can get another relationship or salvage that relationship. You can't salvage time. You know what I mean? You can reconcile, right? But not with time, right? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Um, Kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier, as far as what the purpose of this podcast is for. It's about just reaching those who are seeking it, and those who don't even know that they're seeking it. When you think about people just kind of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, it's just like, the hope is that even if that person doesn't find value in it, they may know someone else who does, you know. And so when you're talking about the synergy, when you're talking about the connectivity of human beings and all those things, we're taking time to do this, right? And the hope is that at least one person will take the time to watch or to listen, right? Um, with that said, contact information. If someone watching this is saying that Marcus Jackson, I need I need to get in contact with that guy. How would they go about that?
Jax Fitness on Instagram or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
JAX Fitness, MBS. MBS stands for Mind, Body, Soul. Jax Fitness, Mind, Body, Soul. You can
Nice.
find me on Instagram or my phone number,
You dig?
319 529 6351. For any of your fitness needs, I'll be here for you.
Hey man, bro, I just want to thank you again for being a part of not only my life, but a part of this business and a part of this podcast, man. I really appreciate you and love you just like you are a brother, man.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
It's likewise.
Yeah.
Beyond
Yeah.
words.
Amen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Reps and Reflections, hosted by myself, Bobby Johns Jr. I kind of said a little bit about it, just kind of closing the episode out. But let's assume for a second that the people that are closest to you aren't always the most honest with you as it pertains to what they're going through in their lives. There's a lot of studies out there that that will tell you um, that most people are not truly satisfied with where they are in life. That's the human condition. So I just ask that you guys not take that for granted. Please share, like, subscribe, comment. Let's start a dialogue, right? I have a lot of resources. So even if you don't work with me, even if you don't work with Marcus or James or Austin or Cherie, even if you don't work directly with any one of us, we have got a list of resources just for you. So if you're struggling out there, don't struggle alone, right? To be human is to be connected. And we discussed today how valuable time is and how valuable fitness and wellness is, for not only for you individually, right, but for us as a society. Can you imagine a world where we are healthier, right? Where our minds are sharper and not clouded by all the negativity, right? talking about illnesses and sicknesses and things like that. Well, fitness and wellness and all those things really build immunity, right? How you eat, how you sleep, how you communicate. How many endorphins am I secreting a day? How many calories am I burning a day? How active am I becoming? How healthy is my heart, my cardiovascular being? So please, I just encourage you not to take for granted that that if it's not you, someone you may know may be looking for some resources. I want to thank you all one more time for tuning in to Reps and Reflections. And as always, I love you all.
The blind man doesn't need eyes to see, but he finds his way. And I know you struggle, I struggle, we struggle, but fear doesn't have to live here. Because if you rise, and I mean really rise, the return on the investment that you put into yourself will be greater than any other on your journey. But it must be done through reps. It must be done with reflection. Reflection, reps.